Hi, my name is Chris. I'm also known on YouTube as the Stealth Van Man. Today I want to share with you my minivan camper conversion, and then I want to give you a few tips on how to live in a minivan comfortably. And I emphasize the word comfortable. Living in a minivan doesn't have to be an uncomfortable, bad experience. With the proper planning and organization, it can be actually a enjoyable, pleasurable adventure. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a retired building contractor. And when you're a retired building contractor, you're never really retired because you always have friends and family that want you to work on some kind of home project. And a lot of my friends and family are out of state, so I do a lot of traveling. I may be gone anywhere from 2 to 4 months out of the year, off and on. And when I first started this about 6 years ago, I found out right away I needed my own space. So I decided to look into getting a van where I had a place to cook and sleep and also organize all my belongings. I like to take off on weekends when I'm working on a certain project and explore, so a van was a good option for me. So after looking at all my options, I decided to get a minivan. I'm going to give you the 3 reasons why I got a minivan. And the first reason is the cost. This was an experiment for me, so I didn't know if I'd like this experience or not, so I didn't want to put a lot of money into a van. But minivans are relatively inexpensive. I paid about $3,000 for this one. This is a Chrysler Town and Country. It's kind of the same thing as a Dodge Caravan. It had 140,000 miles when I bought it. I put 110,000 miles since then. I've had it for about 7 years. It's been very trouble-free, and also minivans get really good gas mileage, about 22 miles a gallon, and the maintenance is very low. And the reason number 2 why I got a minivan is because minivans are very easy to convert. Okay, I'm out here in my shop. We have the seats out of the van, and I told you these minivans are easy to convert. And I'm going to show you a few features that make them easy to convert. So, as you can see, the seats are out. You see I put some hardwood flooring in here, some laminate flooring. And the reason why I only put a little bit in is because when I put my platform in, it covers this area here. And the tip is don't take any of that insulation out or the carpet out, because it makes good insulation. Okay, next thing I want to point out, every van should have one, is a carbon monoxide alarm. And then you got a window that vents out, get you some fresh air. You can see here, this van has a little shelf, and I put these little totes up here. I got my toiletries in them, and I have a mirror there, so everything is within reach right there. And then I got a paper towel holder. And then over here I got a little fan, and then I got a little holder for my cell phone when I'm laying in my bed there. Okay, let's move up here to the side. And this is really important here. I got this little outlet for this plug. And I use that all the time. I put a little spice rack in. And what makes these minivans easy to convert is that you see we have the windows are already in, the walls are in, they're insulated. And then if you look up on the ceiling, we have the vents for the heat. The lights are in. It's ready to go. Now, if you had a panel van, you'd have to put insulation and the paneling on, and you'd have to come up with some kind of heating system. So let's look at the front here real quick. I'll point out a couple features. This is a little area for the cell phone plug. I put a garbage can in, took the console out. That just pops right open here. You gotta have a garbage can. And then I have an inverter I put in, but that's something I really don't even use that much. And So this is ready to go also. All right, I have everything out of this van right now, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you some of the things I have. I'm going to talk a little bit about my conversion. What I wanted was a conversion that fit my needs. So my brother had a minivan, and he had the seats taken out. So what I did was I took a tape measure and I got in his minivan with the seats out, and I measured all the available space in it. And I'm a big guy, I'm about 6'4". So I utilized all the space, and I came up with a plan that I thought was really practical for me. The other thing I wanted with my mini conversion is I wanted to be able to sit in one spot and have access to all my belongings. So another thing I wanted was a simple van conversion. I didn't want solar panels. I didn't want a sink that required a big tank and a pump that would freeze up. So I came up with a real simple sink that was only for drainage. Now we're going to go ahead and just show you everything that's in this van. I can literally have this van put back together and loaded up in about 15 minutes. So I got my ice chest, I got my blankets, I have a sleeping bag that also is in the pillow, my little sink there, got all my tools, mechanical tools, I got jumper cables, air compressor, of course I have my water, I have a stove, and then all the drawers I need. You can see these are actually really big drawers. They can hold a lot of clothing. I got, this is my food drawer right now. There's not much in it because I'm not traveling. Then I got my pots and pans, my clothing. And this is something else I put in. These are my tools, my battery operated tools for building. And then in this one I got 60 different hand tools. Now everything's going to fit inside this van very comfortably. And these are the two main components I came up with for my van. I didn't want a bunch of drawers. I wanted some totes that were just right off the shelf from Walmart. So I didn't have to make any cabinets or drawers. It was real easy. So this is my platform, and these drawers slide right underneath it. I'll give you a quick look what that looks like. We'll flip it up here. These 2x4s support it, and then these drawers will slide underneath it. They're about 32 inches apart. And then the other component is, I call this my wheel well table. This literally goes right on top of the wheel well. I just screw it in with 3 screws. It doesn't take very long. There's my battery pack. And then I got this Milwaukee fan. I got another fan, but this works really good because I do have Milwaukee batteries. I use this also. And then there's my foam mattress right here that pops right on the platform. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go ahead and start putting this van back together. I'm very quickly just going to put my 2 main components in my van, my bed platform and my table. So I'll just go ahead and get that started. Okay, we got that in. Now I'll go ahead and attach this table. And I forgot to bring the drill over here. Why don't you go ahead and put it on pause here. Okay, here's my wheel well table. Basically, there's 3 screws that go in there. I'll just go ahead and screw that right in. it up. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my sink in for you. This is real simple. This is a 1 gallon bucket. I put that here. This is really nothing more than a dog food bowl, and I put a drain in that I got at Home Depot. And that just pops right in there. I wouldn't really call this a sink, I'd call it more of a drain, but you have to have one. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and pause here for a minute, and then we're going to go ahead and load this van back up, and then I'll give you some tips on how to live in it. Reason number 3, minivans are very stealthy. With window tinting and curtains, no one even has to know you're in it. What I wanted to do was save money on motels and campgrounds, so I can literally park anywhere and no one knows I'm in it. As you can see, I have curtains up. The windows are tinted. I have a curtain here between the front and the back that just snaps on in a matter of seconds. So I'm going to go ahead next and show you what I talked about earlier, is the accessibility to everything I need in this van. Okay, as I pointed out, I have complete access to everything I need. As you can see, I have a little area here I can slide down, but I really don't need to. I have access to my toiletries, access to my sink. I have access to my food, paper plates. There's my pots and pans. And I have access to all my clothing. As you can see, I also have drawers underneath this table. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out my cook stove here and just give you a little demonstration if we were to cook something. And it's really important for me to have my cook stove inside the van where I can cook so no one can see me. I don't have to get out when it's raining or get out anywhere to cook. It's right in front of me. So I get my pots and pans out. I have access to my water, and I also have access to my ice chest. So I can cook something. On these little cook stoves, this is a butane cook stove. Just takes butane. All you got to do is push this button down, you strike it, and it's ready to go. So let's say, for example, I wanted to cook something. I would take my paper plate, reach for my silverware. And another thing I want to point out is I have a paper towel holder I also have access to. So I can grab a pan. I can cook a meal, and what I usually do is I just clean the pan up. A lot of times I'll take some hot water and I'll put it in the pan and wipe it clean. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this away now. I'll close this drawer up and I'll pull this curtain down so you can see. This is where my garbage can's at. So when I'm done with that, I just open up and throw my garbage away. And then I just want to talk a little bit about the water. I usually carry about 3 or 4 of these gallon jugs around. The nice thing about them, you can just pull them out and fill them up anywhere. You don't have to worry about if they do freeze, you can put them someplace in your ice chest or whatever and they won't freeze. So that really works a lot better than having a big 5-gallon jug of water with a sink that requires a faucet. So I talked about everything that's pretty much needed in a van in order to live comfortably. As you can see, really this is quite comfortable. And, you know, the last thing I forgot to show you was my bed. Like I said, I'm 6'4", and I can comfortably lie down in this bed and stretch out. So look for me, the Stealth Van Man. I'll have some follow-up videos on how to comfortably live in a van. And as you can see, vans require all the same types of things a house would require. They require heat and water, and we'll go in detail on all these different necessities. And then I'll talk to you maybe about the curtains and how to put those up. And I really appreciate you watching today. Thank you.